Hello YouTubers, fellow hams and travelers. Well, usually I do these vlog entries when I'm about to move. And honestly, this year I figured that I was going to be ready to move about this time. But it's still cold. Last year it was warm by now, but this year it looks like we're going to be cold through middle to later February. However, I needed to do one of these because I'm going to be pretty busy the next couple of weeks, and I wanted to let you know why. Now, yeah, also, by the way, still have the beard. It's because it's cold. It's a face warmer. I'll probably shave it off once it warms up. Shock everybody with my hair cut short and no beard again. But anyway, what's going on? Well, it is the end of January. It's almost February, a couple of days away. By the time you see this, it will be February. And it's winter. Quartzsite, Arizona. Last year there was Quartz Fest that we went to. This year Quartz Fest, as it would have been, was canceled. And they still kind of had it open for a gathering if people wanted to go, and I was kind of planning on going. But then COVID surged, and Arizona was #1 in the country for a little while in COVID cases there. There was even a death here at the area that I'm at, and there's been several positive tests in the area. So, it's here too. But Quartzsite, in January, Quartzsite's a little city. It has a population in the low thousands during the summer, I think. It's tiny. But in January, it is the hub of all things related to RVs and travel, and there's shows and events, and the Rock and Gem show, and all kinds of stuff that goes on. And in January, tens of thousands of travelers descend upon that little area. And it just didn't seem to make sense to run the risk of going up there with all of these people coming in from all over the country in the middle of a surge of the virus, when there really wasn't going to be any events or anything, just people hanging out in their RVs in a different spot. And I can do that here and be safe, safer, I think. So I didn't go. And I'm sorry to those of you that might have gone and were hoping to see me there. It was not an easy decision to make, and it was right up until the day before the week of Quartz Fest that I finally decided I wasn't going to go. So if you went there and you were hoping to see me there, I'm sorry. I hope you'll forgive me, and hopefully next year we'll be back to normal and we'll have a regular Quartz Fest, and if I'm still alive and traveling, we'll be there. As long as they're going to have it, I'll be there. So hopefully we'll see you next year. What else? Well, a drone story. The main reason for me doing this video a little early. Back when I hit the road, my son gave me a drone that he'd bought but never flown. And it was a cheapie. It was one of those that you buy from a vendor who sets a stand up in the middle of the hallway at the mall. And I guess my lighting is changing. The sun is going in and out from behind clouds. It's mostly cloudy today. Kind of chilly, that's why I'm wearing this. Anyway, back to the story. That first month that I was on the road, I tried it out at an RV park. And I wanted to use drone footage to enhance the channel since I was traveling, to show you the places that I'm at from a different perspective, Yeah, it was a cheap drone. It barely could handle any breeze. It had a range of only about 50 feet before you lost signal. It wasn't very stable. And in fact, it was so weak that a slight breeze, came up while I was flying it on the second flight and pushed it away from me to where I lost signal. And the drone went into auto land mode, which meant that it wanted to hover and stop fighting the wind, so it was even moving away even faster. I was running after it, but it finished auto landing right in the middle of a pond. It was kind of a funny story at the time. I think I told it before in a video. The owner or the manager of the RV park, Dustin, was standing next to me, and I remember him saying, "Well, that's unfortunate." Then he said, "I think I can get it out." And I handed him the transmitter, and I said, "Well, if you can get it out, you can have it," because I knew that it was going to be useless as a tool. And I don't know if he ever got it out. Fast forward a few months, I had a viewer generously send me a drone. And it was another low-cost one, but it was dead on arrival. The drone wouldn't power up. He'd bought it sometime previous, and never took it out of the box, and it was completely dead. It just would not power up. But determined to get me a drone, he sent me some money to buy one. And I went down and I bought a Vivitar Sky Eye View. Reading the stuff on the side of the box, it looked good. And really my own fault, I didn't do enough research. I got it back, I played around with it for a while. I 3D printed a mount to put a GoPro on it because its camera sucked. But it had a very limited range. It was very herky-jerky. It almost had non-linear controls. You'd move the stick and it would go through 3 settings, still moving faster, moving too fast. It was like there was no linearity to it. I could not get a smooth flight out of it. It could hardly handle the GoPro, and its camera sucked, and that was my mistake. I kicked myself for not doing the research, and I gave it away, I think, to my neighbor so he could play with it. But I took the money and I put it aside and paid for that one out of my own savings, and figured my mistake, I'll pay for that. And I put his money aside and started adding to it a little bit now and then, $5 here, $10 there. And this year I finally got to the point where I could afford a real camera drone from an industry leader in the field. And I bought this little guy. He's all folded up right here and actually fits in my shirt pocket. But don't let its diminutive size fool you. This is a DJI Mini 2. And this is an astounding piece of technology. Absolutely amazing. It has an incredible range. It sends video back to the controller from up to 10 kilometers away, which is more than 2 or 3 miles. I mean, it's a long ways, farther than I would ever fly it. So it's bulletproof. It has an ultra high definition gimbal stabilized camera on it that takes absolutely rock steady video, beautiful photographs. It's an astounding machine. I've been playing with it this week, and you're going to see what it can do. And you're going to see a lot more of it as I travel around for sure, but not quite yet. I would love to show you some of the video that I've captured with it this week. Just jaw-dropping, breathtaking, amazing aerial views of this area in the wash and the desert. But I can't. And the reason I can't is not too long ago, due to idiots out there doing stupid things with drones, the Federal Aviation Administration had to step in and regulate the hobby. Now, if you're a hobbyist and you're just flying for yourself and for fun, all you have to do is register a drone. And actually, this one is under the weight limit. With the battery on board, ready to fly, it's 242 grams or so, below the 250 gram minimum where you'd have to register it. So you could actually fly this one without registering it if you're just a hobbyist. But if you're going to use drone media, footage and photographs to further a business, and it's a very broad definition, but they actually specifically state on their website this includes a monetized YouTube channel or social media. If I was just going to upload videos to Facebook, well, Facebook takes ownership of everything you upload to it, right? So then it becomes a furtherance of a business. So they've even got that spelled out in there that, if you're going to do any of that, you have to become registered with the FAA under Part 107 as a registered unmanned aerial vehicle pilot. So I need to do that. Now, the Part 107 test, it's a 60 question or 65 question test, is daunting. The type of information and the amount of information you have to learn is, I would use the word ridiculous, but I understand why. It's kind of like if you had no prior knowledge of radio or electronics and you wanted to study for the extra. You know, that's what we're talking about. It's a mountain of information. You have to learn, well, all kinds of rules and regulations, you know, from common sense stuff like don't fly over groups of people, don't fly over houses, don't fly over an emergency response action. You know, like if there's a forest fire, don't fly your drone there to look at the forest fire because there's going to be firefighting helicopters in the area. You know, you'll get in their way. Don't fly over accidents or any kind of emergency responder situation. Now, those are common sense. I understand those. But you also have to learn all these other little rules, like you have to stay 500 feet below the clouds or 2,000 feet away from clouds. You have to stay 500 feet from guy wires. I mean, they've got all these rules and specifications. But you also have to learn to do things like decode METOR weather strings, which are what the weather reports that the airports broadcast of their local weather for pilots. You have to read sectional charts. I don't know if you've ever seen a sectional chart. I'll probably find a picture and I've already thrown it up on the screen, but holy cow. These things are a prime example of bad design. They're just an absolute mess of clutter information about airspace and frequencies and runway locations and approach vectors and things, all kinds of information for aviation about an airport. And as you saw, they're just an absolute mess. It's like somebody took a handful of information and just went bleh and threw it on a map. And you got to learn to read those and understand what they're telling you. So yeah, it's a huge, huge, huge amount of information you have to learn to pass this test. And I've seen the figure $165 pop up a couple of times in my preliminary research just to take the test. So I've got to pass it the first time, and I've got to do it soon. There's a testing center only about 30 miles from where I'm at, and I can get a ride there, you know, and not have to pack up the entire house and take the house there and hope I can find a place to park. Once I move north, the closest testing area would be Phoenix, and that's even further away, over 130 miles from Quartzsite and over closer to 200 and some 300 miles from Kingman. So I've got to do it within a couple of weeks before it's time to move north. So the reason that I'm doing this vlog video now instead of just before I move is because over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be devoting all of my waking energy to study. I'm going to cram every single day so that I can go and take that test and get certified, so I can show you guys some really amazing video. Oh man, I did an aerial fly of the Senator Wash that I'm parked next to, so you could actually see how huge it is. I mean, I was 250 feet up in the air, backing out over the Wash, and you could really just see the grandeur and size of it, and the mountains and the desert. And I can't wait to show it to you. I really can't. And I'm probably going to have a lot of use for it coming up this summer too. Last summer I went to Oregon. Boy, I would love to have had it there. Whew, that was a beautiful area. But this summer, two other people and I have been talking about caravanning around northern Arizona during the hot months. I mean, I'll do my normal, go up to my quiet spot around Quartzsite for a month and a half or so, and then I'll go up to Kingman, up to Jeannie and Tony's place. But then it's going to get hot. Somewhere around late June or so, or mid-June, the temperatures there start to get into over 102, 105 Fahrenheit, which is really hot if you're in an RV. And we're all talking about traveling around northern Arizona over the summer. Up around 6,000 feet or so, you know, where it's more temperate. And just going to BLM spots, Bureau of Land Management. They have free camping areas all throughout the state where you can pull in and park and stay for 2 weeks. Then you've got to move. And so what we'll probably be doing this summer is traveling up through around the pine forests and canyons and areas of northern Arizona. 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, and then back to Kingman. And if that comes to fruition and we do that, I definitely want to have this little guy, because there's going to be some beautiful scenery up there. And plus I can, the sunsets around Quartzsite, when I go to my quiet spot there, the sunsets there, for some reason, they're just the most magnanimous, beautiful thing. It's beautiful sunsets. And I really want to shoot this guy up to about 300 feet and do a 360-degree panorama, which it'll do automatically. It's a crazy camera, just as a camera goes. It has all kinds of automated functions, like you can tell it to do a wide angle, and it'll take 12 megapixel shots in sequence. It'll take a shot, it'll move or rotate, take a shot, rotate back, take another shot, and give you a wide panorama. Or you can tell it to do a sphere, and it'll take 16 shots, up, down, middle, move over, up, down, middle, and it does that 360 degrees around. And then you can stitch all those together into a 360-degree rotatable panorama photograph for social media or use in video. And of course, it shoots video up to ultra-high definition. So, yeah, there's a lot of, it's really going to enhance the quality of the videos and the interest of what they can show you as far as when I travel, you know. So I've got to get that done. So that's the main reason for this. I just wanted to let you guys know there might not be a video next week. Maybe I'll squeeze one in. Maybe I'll get so frustrated with studying that I'll take a day and just play radio or do something with radio and film it. I don't know. But what I want to do is I want to just knuckle down and just study, so that I can go and get that Part 107 certification and start sharing some of this footage with you guys. It's going to be worth the wait, really. It's amazing. So that's it. Just wanted to bring you all up to date. And I'm going to just hunker down and wait for the warm weather and try to fill my old brain with a whole bunch of new facts and figures. It's, yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see you in the next video, and hopefully the next video will open with some jaw-dropping aerial views. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not already a subscriber, click to subscribe. Join us on the Facebook channel for discussion about the videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please click to support me on my Patreon page.